Hey, we're cooking with gas here on the Jewcast.
Okay, careful using a phrase like that.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
Tradition!
Oh, shut up, Carl! Shut your goddamn Jew mouth! You people are why there's war in the Middle East!
Gekakken van Jan.
Nebbig.
Ver poepoepoe.
Vermischt.
Verkakt.
Vertut.
Verstonken.
Fartig.
Exactly.
You what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
Hey now.
Hi!
Where are we at now? 31.
31 episodes.
Look at us go.
Yay, us.
Another Jew-packed episode coming right at you. So, we found some good Jewish news, I guess, right?
I don't know if it's good Jewish news, but it's definitely interesting Jewish news.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been big in trade, right?
We have. That's actually interesting part of this, that now it's just evolved using technology, and especially using Amazon.
Orthodox Jews are using Amazon.
Yeah, apparently 7% of all Amazon third-party sales come from a single zip code in Brooklyn, a very religious zip code.
Well, we could have guessed Brooklyn when we said Orthodox Jews.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And Orthodox Jews themselves apparently own businesses, make up 15% of all the marketplace sellers.
On Amazon.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
So, yeah, the Jews are figuring out ways to make money always.
Is there a special discount code that we can use?
I'm not sure. I guess it depends on which one you buy from.
I mean, who do you have to smear to get a good deal on Amazon?
I think it's that Bezos guy.
Well, it's funny. They were saying that there's an old joke in that community that Am in Hebrew, Am means nation, and Mazon means to feed. So the Amazon means to feed the nation.
Yeah, so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to spread the love and the ideas with the Orthodox Jewish community. A lot of people, I guess, in the Orthodox Jewish community, some of them are against like this kind of technology using computers. I guess some rabbis said that you can't use anything that's new or something, but I think for the most part, Orthodox Jews are now using Amazon and different ways and technology to support themselves and their family, and I think that's great.
Can you use their digital marketplace on Saturday?
I guess you can use it on Saturday.
Because that's like a huge percentage, one extra day of being able to sell stuff.
No, I actually was reading that there was one seller who he sold like cookies and some other items that weren't kosher for Passover.
Oh.
And he had to, you can't own any chametz, any breads during Passover, so he had to like get rid of them all. And by doing so, he couldn't sell them for a couple days, and his Amazon rating dropped, and he had to get it back up, and he lost a lot of money. But now he figured out some way about it where Amazon just bought it all from him directly or something. So, I mean, there's still some fine-tuning, I guess, for these Orthodox Jews because they care more about religion. One of the guys that was featured in the article, he used to just study the Torah all day, and then but with 10 kids, he decided to work, and he started this from his home. And now he has a huge company, and more people are doing it because they have a lot of kids too. It's hard to support, so they don't want to just feed off welfare or like the charities from the community, but. I mean, there is a lot of poverty in the Orthodox Jewish community because they don't care. They're more concerned with just studying the Torah and being close to God and doing all that stuff. And honestly, I think they're wasting their lives.
I like the idea that they're feeding the nation.
Yeah, that is like interesting. That's what Amazon means, and it's interesting that like they have now meetings and groups where 200 Orthodox Jews get together and share secrets and tips to better, have better standing, I guess, in the marketplace and to make more money and to make more sales.
Secrets.
Jewish secrets. So hey, Jews sticking together. It's kind of, I didn't know. What I thought's cool is one of the guys, he sold Clorox and coffee filters. So people might not know where it's coming from. So there might be some like anti-Semites out there, some Nazis, some white supremacists who are ordering these coffee filters from the Jewish person.
Yeah, put that in your coffee.
Yeah. Why don't you bleach out your anti-Semitism, you jerks?
There you go.
All right, let's talk about
Speaking of anti-Semitism.
I
mean, we talk about this a lot. I think that, obviously we talk about anti-Semitism a lot, but this particular issue of this new anti-Semitism that they're talking about.
Right. So apparently this new anti-Semitism term was really solidified around 2001 in a UN conference that it declared that Zionism was racist. It was they're racist in Zionism, which is kind of true.
And so apparently the U.S. and the Israeli delegates left that meeting. They wouldn't sign that agreement because of those wordings, and it was dropped. They dropped it out. They took it out.
Right, and now they flipped this. They flipped the script.
Yeah, now they're saying that anti-Zionism is racism.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
I mean, basically, it boils down to the black and white issue that we always talk about, which is that they say that being pro-Israel is necessarily anti-Palestine, which is, I think, a ridiculous statement. It's definitely a hot-button issue for a lot of people.
No, for sure, and it's just wrong. Like, I think that's something that people get confused about with this BDS movement that's going on, where people are like, oh, they're trying to deny Israel the right to exist as a Jewish state, but that's just bullshit. That's not what they want. This is like the propaganda that people are spreading, like anti-Palestinian stuff.
Right.
And people are just not informed. Like, what BDS wants, it doesn't want to deny Israel, like, existence. It objects to, like, the way they have rights based on ethnicity, as opposed to, like, where you were born. And they want equal rights to all citizens.
Right.
Not just Jews. Like, it is. Zionism is racist, I think. It puts Jews above everything else. And now we got, like...
Well, I think both of them are racist. Zionism and anti-Zionism are both, I think, a little bit racist, because you're basically saying that one is better than the other.
Well, I think, no, anti-Zionism is saying this thing. We're saying that it's all Jews and getting rid of everybody else. That is, I don't see how anti-Zionist is racist. The way it originally was intended.
Right.
Or anti-Semitic, excuse me.
I guess, yeah. Well, I think,
I thought this was interesting. This is a quote by a guy, Peter Beinart. Republicans no longer talk about Israel like it's a foreign country. They conflate love of Israel with love of America because they see Israel as a model for what they want America to be, an ethnic democracy.
Right.
A lot of racists, a lot of Trump supporters, a lot of people, they just want whites, get the Mexicans out, anti-Muslims. They are just using this to sway political favor. They don't really care for the well-being of the Jewish people, and I don't think they really care for the well-being of Israel so much. And by the way, Netanyahu is totally corrupt.
Well, it's
horrible.
I mean, that's why Trump is buddy-buddy with him, I would imagine. Also, the other thing is the Republican Party is just trying to get a lot of these Democratic Jews to sort of self-shame themselves for going to agree with people that are possibly anti-Israel.
No, it's true. It's like he doesn't care about Jews. He doesn't really care about Israel, Trump. What he cares about is having something to throw at his liberal opponents, which is claiming that they're anti-Semitic.
Right.
So that's easy for him, and apparently that's like something that Netanyahu has done if you're against the state of Israel, if you're against Zionism. But it's wrong. It's just a thing. Only Jews, it's crazy. We have talked about this, but I'm glad. I mean, I hope we're bringing clarity to some people, and we're like opening up some people's eyes where they just don't think all Palestinians want to kill every Jewish person, that the BDS is trying to like ruin Israel, that like Ilhan Omar and, these congresswomen are horrible and they hate all Jews. They're not. They're for equal rights for everybody, which I think all human beings deserve. And I think if you don't feel like everybody should have equal rights, then you're the idiot. You're the bad person. We get so caught up in like all the wrong things. People are like, anti-abortion. And meanwhile, they like the people that are alive for reals, they don't even care about, It makes no sense. I think as a human being, we need to know, like, what is the difference between right and wrong. I don't need some dumb religious book to tell me what's right or wrong. I especially don't need no corrupt politician like Netanyahu or Trump to tell me what's right or wrong. I know what's right or wrong. And one of the things is not only I think, a woman's right to choose, but I think equality for all, and everybody should be treated the same. No one should be treated differently because of their religion or their sexual preference or their nationality. And, I mean, how is this not, like, seeping through people's heads? I don't get it. Like, how, like, is Israel still just, like, they keep having more and more human right violations, and then they just want to say, anti-Semites, you're an anti-Semite for saying that. Like, no. It's wrong.
I'll tell you this. We're going to get into this week's Torah portion, which I think also has its own elements of hypocrisy and could have led to some of these kinds of thoughts. I mean, this week's Torah portion is pretty fucking cold-blooded. There's a lot of...
Cold-blooded!
Right? I mean...
Well, it's judges, right?
There's a lot of laws on how to govern.
Okay.
In this week's Parsha.
Like, you got to pick out, like, who are going to be the judges of each, like, city.
Who's going to be impartial, you know.
Okay.
But it also...
I also like that if you're convicted of something, you need to have 2 witnesses that saw it. That's not bad.
One credible witness is not enough.
No, you need 2.
You need 2.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
All right.
It also has a thing about, you should do away with all sorcerers.
Yeah, let's get rid of these wizards.
Yeah.
Those wizards and no superstition and no sorcery. What's that about? Come on. Why can't we have a little magic? Jews hate magic all of a sudden?
I mean, we have all these different hats. Not one of them is a sorting hat.
It's true. They can't pull a rabbit out of one of their goddamn hats. It looks like the fur is made from a rabbit.
Then it talks about...
But let's talk more about this sort, what? Like, why do we have against magic? Sorry, according to the Bible, Harry Potter's wrong, so...
Well, it goes back to God being very insecure. You know, he doesn't want any source...
He's just a control freak?
He doesn't want anybody talking to spirits or to the dead or to, that's where the sorcery thing comes in.
Okay. So no sorcery.
He says, let no one be found among you who consigns a son or daughter to the fire, who is an augur, a soothsayer, a diviner, a sorcerer, one who casts spells, or one who consults ghosts or familiar spirits, or one who inquires of the dead.
I mean, is he saying that all those things are real? Is the Bible saying that witches and mediums and it is? It's kind of saying it's all real.
I guess, yeah.
It's crazy. How does anybody believe this book? It makes no sense. It's even saying right now, like, God is like, don't be trusting those witches.
Yeah, don't be talking to John Edwards.
Somebody just wrote this Bible and to try to control people and can try to shape the world.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where some of these anti-Semitic tropes are coming from, because they're like, the Old Testament is the like original Bible of the book, and it's like the Jews are the chosen people, and that pisses people off.
Then there's the whole thing about how to get people to join the army. You want people to join your army.
Oh yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
But there are a few exceptions. You can defer your deployment.
Yeah, you don't even have to be a draft dodger like some of our President Trump. But what was it? If you just got married?
If you just got married and you haven't yet created any new Jews, I think that's really what it is.
Okay, that's one of them. If you started a vineyard.
If you started a vineyard, because you're going to make wine probably to sacrifice for everyone.
Right. Isn't there one if you built a house?
If you just bought a house, yeah.
And then I like it. It's like, and then if you're just scared.
Yeah. Right. What is the actual phrase? Faint of heart or something?
Afraid and soft-hearted. If you got a soft heart, then you don't have to go to war. I mean, this seems like it's a lot of people not going to war, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that don't have to do the fighting.
Well, also, there's a lot of fighting in here. He tells you that, you got to go destroy these cities, take them over. But he says, you could be fair with them. You could give them the opportunity first to just surrender.
Right. That's what. Well, no, you have to do that first before you go to war. You have to be like, hey, like we don't have to do this.
Right.
You could just leave.
No. They don't leave. They surrender, and then they become your slave labor.
They can't just leave.
No, forced labor.
Oh man.
You take them, but if they refuse, then you kill all the men. And you keep the women and the children and all their livestock and do whatever you want with it.
Jeez, that's kind of harsh.
It is, right?
Right?
It's
all the men and just like take their women and make their children your slaves.
Yeah.
Wow. And
you have to also make sure that you destroy any evidence of anything that they prayed to.
Okay, yeah, they can't have any others. I thought one thing was interesting that that you can't chop down a fruit tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you could chop down regular trees, but if you see a fruit tree, you can't chop it down, and it has something to do with like there's a famous statement in the Torah for man is a tree of the field, and so the fruit tree's got to stay.
What else is there? Anything else in there?
I mean,
that we missed.
There's a lot going on in this parsha. It concludes with like special laws about like if someone is found that is like murdered. And, like, you don't know, like, how he got murdered and then like what to do about it, and it's kind of weird. You have to like find the distance to like the closest city and then get the judges from there to like go to some bad area with like a cow that has never been had to work in its life, and they have to decapitate it and then like wash their hands and say something like we're washing our hands of this murder. We don't know who did it.
We also, that's basically they're just saying, well, this guy died, it wasn't us.
Yeah. But I like it, like they're who's it gonna be? It's like sorry, like when cops and like FBI's and they're like, this is our jurisdiction.
It's funny that some of these Torah portions are so basic, and some of them have so much information in them.
Yes, and also, by the way, I am on the edge of my seat with these Torah portions about when Moses is going to die.
Oh, yeah, it's coming.
I thought, like, I already thought he was going to die, like, this week or last week's Parsha, but he hasn't died. Sadly, it's coming, but yeah, so I don't know about this Parsha. By the way, last week we mentioned Walking Dead. Rabbi, did you watch the episode?
I didn't.
I did watch the episode, and the rabbi is joining the cast of Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
He kicked ass. It was funny because they had a lot of like Jewish things, like the eternal flame was a thing. Like, oh no, it's got to go out. I'm like, wow, they're really like bringing in some Judaism. But then I saw some articles the next day. It's like Fear the Walking Dead's worst episode yet.
Oh really?
I'm like, who wrote this? Like an anti-Semite? I was like, ugh. I'm like, you can't write that.
I mean, was that the reason that they panned it? Because
I didn't even read the article. I just saw the headline.
First, the Jews come into the Walking Dead, and now they're in the Fear the Walking Dead.
Yep, Fear the Walking Dead of Jews. I mean, hey, Jews, it's so crazy how much hate we receive, yet how much hate we are putting out there.
Well, you know, my friend, I have a friend who always says that, everybody always complains the Jews run Hollywood, the Jews run the media, but nobody ever says thanks for the entertainment.
I don't know. I hate when people say stuff like that because we're in media and entertainment and we're not running anything. We're barely running this podcast.
We're running it on fumes.
But we appreciate people who are listening. People who are checking us out on social media. We see you. We like you. We know you. You're going to get into heaven. I mean, I don't really believe that there is a heaven. But if there is one, I think you've done a good deed and you'll get to it. Continue to check us out on social media at American Jew Podcast, except for Twitter. We're at American Jew Pod. You could email us at americanjewpodcast@gmail.com.
You sure about that? That sounded like you were a little confused.
Something about American Jews. And, of course, I'm on Instagram, Jonathan Randall.
I'm on Instagram also at BeatnikNudnik. We will be here Jewing it up again next time.
Yeah.
Bye.